all that's in that pocket meant something to that woman. So each of them has a story. Behind every medal and cross, there's a story. Travelling women wore it around their waist. And when they travelled from camp to camp, they'd swap medals or crosses, as a keepsake. But the pocket, as you can see here now, is being made from bits of buttons. They can be made from bits of materials, whatever they had lying back in the day, they put onto the pockets. And I suppose you could call it, back in the day, it would be named as a Gucci pocket because it held everything close to their heart. They wore it over their skirt and their apron, and the colours kind of matched, so that was the style, I suppose, back in the day that they wore to when they'd meet up with their family and friends. Sometimes it could take years before they'd meet, months, depending what was going on, whether it was a funeral or a wedding, but they'd always meet up and swap their bits and pieces and bits and bobs. And this is a blank that I'm starting, and you sew on the buttons or whatever you have, and you make your buttons as decorative as you can. You can mix colours, whatever is your taste. You can put 2 buttons, just give it a bit of colour. Sometimes I lay out a pattern on the table first of the buttons and how it's going to look, and it gives you an idea, I suppose, what colour you want to put into it, so it's not random if you have enough there. But what happened back in the day, the travelling women, they wouldn't actually have all these buttons and medals at the one time. They'd probably start off a very bare pocket made, but inside the pouch here, that'd be made like this, so they would be able to get in their hand to add. Could be earrings, could be crosses, could be anything. So, but they wouldn't have to take it apart to do it. In their hand, they go in here and sew it on, and that's why it's full now. But it would start off bare like this, very, very bare, and then it would continue on like this then. And the more travelling they did, and the more family they met, and they'd get a gift. And they'd exchange stuff themselves from their pockets. They'd cut off maybe a button or a cross or something, and they'd give it to their family member, whoever gave them something, when they wouldn't see them for months on end, because back in the day, the travellers didn't have cars, they had carts. So it took them a long, long time to travel. But I suppose it was worth it at the end, because they were happy to see one another. I suppose back in the day, like, I have variety coloured threads there now, but the travellers back in the day, years back, they might not have all the colours, so they might just have 2 basic colours, black and white. So it would black and white to be on every button and cross, but I'm just putting colour on now with the different coloured threads. And it's great to hand down to your children, teach your children, your grandchildren, the history and culture of the Beady Pocket. This one here is the most modern one that was made by a woman called McDonagh. She's dead now since, God rest her poor soul. But she made this, and you can see on it here the embroidery around the edge, beautiful embroidery. You can see the crosses, medals. So all of those meant something to her when she made it. And I suppose that's the most keepsake that travelling women have today, the old women. And it's handed down into their families also. So which is a lovely, lovely keepsake to have from the mothers before them. Do you know, I'm sure now if she was here today, she'd tell us who gave her those, where she was when she collected them, and what she gave in exchange. And that was just a decoration there she put around the edge. So it's all about the story behind the Beady Pocket. It's a pocket of memory.